And go live. Let me grab my mobile device so that I can manage the chat from that.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, looks like we are live. New share. We got this. Yeah, now we're live. And now I just need to minimize the sound there so that I don't hear myself in echo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now we're live. Now I just need to. There we go. Hear myself in echo. Where is the echo coming from? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay. Whew. That always makes me so anxious when I have to hear myself back.
Yeah. Well, it messes with your brain.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Beautiful. Let me resume the share there. Perfect. And I'll jump into the chat. For those of you who are joining, welcome. Just going to log in. No software updates now. Thank you, though. And then we'll begin. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so what was I going to say here? Hey, Sean, great to have you here from Australia. Welcome. Allison, I knew you were going to be here, and I'm glad you're here. I think you'll really like this one. Angela, great to see you. Thanks for joining. And if everyone who's joining would be so kind as to just hit that like button on the way in, that would be great. It helps the content circulate and reach more people. That would be fantastic. Welcome, Marion from the Netherlands. Sherry, I'm so glad you're looking forward to this. It is the perfect time for a meditation like this. Hey, great to see you there in Austin, Kat. You're welcome, Angela. Hello to Arizona as well. W, great to have you. Yay, Danielle, I'm glad you caught the live as well. Atlanta's in the house, Germany's in the house, United Kingdom's in the house. Welcome, everybody. So great to have you guys here. My name is Kay Moon, and I am a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about a meditation series that I learned in 2017 from True Insight Meditation Center or Spiritual Center in El Segundo, California, in the United States. It's a real treat and pleasure to be here with the founder and creator of the Meditation Center. Her name is Carrie, and she's going to walk us through this special meditation series. This meditation series is unique among other meditations that you may have learned or may have been taught. Most people think that when they sit down to meditate, the idea is to empty their mind. And if they're thinking, somehow they're doing it wrong. One of the primary experiences I had with this meditation is how to utilize the activity in my mind, direct it in order to create a state of neutrality, sovereignty, and a return to my natural essence and power. This meditation that you're going to experience an introduction to today can be learned from anywhere in the world. Carrie's going to give us a brief introduction momentarily. And if you're listening to this after the fact, you'll be able to find details about how to find this meditation and learn more in the description box below. Carrie, thank you so much for being here with us today. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you. It really is a pleasure. Very exciting.
Very exciting. So, we had talked about when we got together doing this. I had some questions prepared for you. Mostly, I'm really curious about the center and kind of how you got started. What's the history here, and how did you come to create True Insight?
No, thank you. That is a good question. The way True Insight got created was through my own spiritual path and awakening. I had learned a meditation. His name was Louis Boswick, and my original teacher was first teacher was Michael Tamora, awesome man, and I started showing up to his classes, and my life began to change. And I've studied many things, and they've all were very, very, very valuable to me in my life's journey. But once I found this little niche from, again, it's Louis Boswick's style of meditation, my life instantly began to change because the meditation that we teach at True Insight it teaches you about personal growth and how to awaken to your own answers and know the difference between your answers and the world's answers and family answers. And as you begin to validate that space within you, you just begin to grow and your world expands. And it's validating, and the emotional experience. Um, there's really no way to describe that when you start to really know that your life's being run from your innate wisdom, who you are as a soul and a body, and how to expand it. And it's a basic meditation foundation, but it always gives. It never ceases to amaze me on working with these tools on how my life has changed in dramatic and, oh my gosh, limitless ways. It's where I find that if you allow that innate wisdom and that body and spirit to communicate, that all those limits, even in our minds, begin to shift consciousness. So, um, but anyways, how I really got started with this by being introduced to it. But not only that is I was hungry for it. So I used to go to San Francisco. I used to go to San Diego. I would go wherever I could get a class. And the universe somehow supported that journey as it usually does. It's amazing how things can come together for a journey. And there was a gentleman named John Fulton, and he one day said, "Oh, let's start a school." And I said, "Yeah." Anyways, he asked me a few more times, and I said, "Oh, how hard could that be?" Well, 18 years later, it's been a great journey. Um, as Kay said, I opened it center up in 2003, and been moving forward ever since in El Segundo. And yeah, it gets exciting. You go through life and you go through what we call growth periods, which are these periods of time where things tend to hold still and you work through the energy, and then it's kind of like crossing that bridge, and then one day you find yourself in this new place that you created for more of your own information, more of who you are as a soul. And True Insight keeps creating those bridges over and over again to new life experiences that I would have never imagined. They just kind of like magic. They come along. You go, oh, there it is. You didn't even know I was asking for that, but boy, is this fun and wonderful. I've also found that one of the biggest benefits in this work is the relationships in my world and how to become honoring of those relationships, and how I created those agreements sometimes before I was even born, to unveil them as I travel my journey. And wow, I can't even begin to tell you the lessons with relationships that I've been empowered by. So, anyways, yeah, True Insight came along because of all these different teachers and this work, this type of meditation period. And I just thought that if it's done this for me, it can definitely empower other people to, for me, it's made a quality life. And I just want everybody to be what they choose to be and how they choose to get there. So, did that answer your question? Was that enough?
It was beautiful. It was a wonderful answer. I think what you just shared, that last bit there, is one of the reasons that I find the meditation resonates so much. And I felt it would be really ideal for this audience in this moment of high change,
Oh,
because there is so much newness coming into all of our lives as we move into this, high frequency Aquarian energy, figuring out what's right for you, your own answers, and how that, getting that space where you're not drowning in other people's answers, family expectations, old dreams that are unfulfilled, things like that, gives us the opportunity to really come home and really be with ourselves. And I consider that a state of love, you know,
mhm,
and really recognizing that for me, it gives me that opportunity to love others as well and really recognize them in their space and in their sovereignty.
mhm. Absolutely. That's all this work's built on, period. It's just that. Just unfolding your life's love, I guess you could say it, in within everybody else too. So I find that for myself. And people, use the meditation tools for many places of their lives for empowerment, whether it's not relationships, but their careers, um, their homes. I mean, it's limitless because that's already within us. It's just awakening it and giving ourselves permission and following, that awakening process. So, yes.
Yeah, beautiful. So, about this meditation, this wonderful tool we keep referring to, this meditation I've noticed is very different than, let's say, transcendental meditation, or um, there's different yogic types of meditation, etc. Can you share a bit about the purpose? I think you did, and some of the benefits. I think you did that as well. But I'm just curious if there's anything else you can share about the meditation itself that would give us a better understanding of what exactly is happening here.
Well, again, you're finding that bond between body and spirit becoming clearer. And as souls and as humans, we tend to gather again the static from the world and sometimes get lost in the static. This tool here, and I guess that's the best way to explain it, is, if you're listening to media or watching videos or around people, they all have this chatter, and then it begins to blend together, and their emotions, their ideas, the sensations in their bodies all become a static within us. But we always have our own answers underneath that static. And the tools here help you find your answers to allowing that static to release and to begin to hear that communication as spirit in the body and the body to the spirit, and aligning that to where you awaken to your journey, into many limitless things by just tuning into self. As Kay said, there's this chatter, but as you meditate and you find your space, is what we call it, that chatter begins to release, that static begins to release out of the brain, and out of the aura and out of the chakras, then you start to hear your own song and you recognize it instantly. And in that, there's a kind of just, it's kind of like a rebirthing, I guess. Each time you do it, is just new levels of awareness, or it helps you get through, those times that you're not always taking those kinds of steps, for those steps of, like, 2020, where there's so much static and on the planet, emotionally and mentally, that you're part of that. And in that part, as you meditate, you become that brighter, loud, that brighter song or that brighter image. And that just helps those people around you awaken to their innateness. And that's all these tools do, is help you empower yourself in that awakening and in that wisdom, that sparkle within you. And then it just helps other people at whatever level that they're living their lives. But I would say that this is the brightening of your sparkle inside your soul, inside your body. And that's all these tools teach you, is your own answers. And you learn from who you are and where you are at on your soul's journey. Whether you're 1,000 lives old or you're 50 lives old, there's something to learn, and these tools just help you follow that song, that sparkle. How's that? Okay.
That is beautiful. It's illuminating. I mean, it can sound a little etheric there, but I think the piece of it that is important to just anchor for ourselves for today is that this meditation gives us that opportunity to be present with who we are, not a template or a construct or other people's ideas or what happens from old storylines. It really anchors us in the present, in the
Yes.
now, in this body, in this timeline. And in so doing, any energy that we've kind of split off or left in other places or with other people, we get the opportunity to reclaim that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'll share from my own personal experience that in the process of that, I noticed I was way less triggerable on topics that used to always bother me. Setbacks in my life no longer caused me to freeze or to spin, or like my response time when things changed wasn't, I didn't realize I had a slow response time until it sped up. And I was like, oh, I'm just moving through life a lot with a lot less, as you said, static. My sensitivity, I'm a very sensitive person, was no longer a burden. I was able to play with my gifts a lot more instead of feeling confused or frustrated by them. I could see really clearly that the relationships that I was in and the way that I was conducting them, the ones that, you know, only existed if I gave away my power or gave away parts of myself, those became much clearer to me. And I was able to update those agreements, release those relationships where appropriate, where we'd both outgrown that agreement. I got really present to what it was like to live from a place of divine neutrality. And I will say that that is probably the number one thing that informs my capacity to channel. It's because I'm capable of being with any information that comes my way. I mean, certainly some information is like, okay, that's a little hard to hear, but it, the judgment filters have turned down significantly so that I'm able to be with people no matter where they are at. And that's made me a more loving person. And lastly, as an empath, I was able to really distinguish my feelings from other people's feelings and thoughts with way more clarity. And I could turn down the volume on whatever was going on for other humans so that I could stay very centered in what was happening with me. And that allowed me to interact and stay in a place of greater love. And much of this, like I said, like I've been meditating, didn't doing other stuff for years, but this meditation is the one that really changed my life and allowed my gifts to open up and unfold in a new way. So that is why I've brought Carrie here, because I feel like we could all use that kind of space, that kind of return to who we really are in our own sovereignty. So in a moment, I'm going to link the center in the chat for all of you so that you have the opportunity to learn more if you'd like. But before we go any further, let me just see here in my questions. I think we're going to do a sample of this meditation. Is there any vocabulary that it's really important for people to know or to understand? Or no, before we answer that one, there are other tools that can be learned through True Insight. I did the meditation series, but after you complete Med 1, Med 2, Med 3, and Med 4, what else can you do at True Insight?
Well, that's a good question. And I'll kind of just touch on that a little bit. Meditation 1 is the foundation of the school. That's a 5-week class. And it just teaches you to be able to transform energy and be grounded and give to yourself your own information. So the whole meditation for that first 5 weeks is about finding your space and your seniority. And the second 5 weeks is a little bit more of that, but bringing in more about chakras and auras and helping you define your space a little bit more. And then we also show you how to do aura healings and wonderful things like that, where you start to begin to more or less start to see energy. Some people experience it, like Kay and like myself, and you learn how to find your information versus that person that you're working with or the other members in your class. So again, and then you start to be able to visually, or as I said, experience the different layers. Then you talk about the chakras. So the last couple of 5-week programs were really about defining space and seeing energy if you choose. It's an innate ability as a spirit. And then there's the intuitive program where you really focus in on that sixth chakra and being able to see energy. And then we also have a hands-on healing program, which is kind of on postpone until we get through some of the COVID energy and people are feeling safer about being touched and being in those close proximities. But where you learn quite a bit about the anatomy and a lot about the anatomy, but not only the physical anatomy, but the spiritual anatomy in the body. And you start to watch that align underneath your hands. And then we have what we call a mediumship program, where you can learn to talk to other souls that have no bodies. And then we have another program, it's called Be It White program. And that's really taking your meditation to a new space where you learn how to come and go out of the body during that meditation. And it's quite a practice. It's fun. But we always come back to meditation 1 when we're through. We have at least probably 15 years of curriculum here. And actually more if I develop a new class. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So we have a lot to offer at this studio or at True Insight. And each one, everything that we teach is all based on meditation 1. You have to know your space and how to work with the world in order to allow yourself to go beyond your imagination. So that all happens in that foundational class.
Nice. Very
Mm-hmm.
nice. Yeah. This is, I mean, I loved the training and everything that I learned there because of the way it allowed me to understand what my gifts are,
Mm-hmm.
my spiritual gifts are. It gave me a sense of, it gave me the opportunity, instead of my gifts kind of confusing or frustrating me, it gave me a way to really practice them, cultivate them, and then share them with other people. in a way that empowered them and myself, as opposed to drained me, but empowered them. So, one of the things I really like about True Insight, I mean, the best way I can kind of describe it, and I don't know if you like or appreciate this analogy, but it's basically like Hogwarts for people who have, spiritual gifts. That was my experience of it.
That's what a lot of people call it. It's
Yeah,
like
Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Like, oh, this is where the people who have the gifts go to learn how to use them. Got it.
That's exactly the truth. That's meditation one, where you really begin to define what each is, the aura, the chakra. Yeah, it's all in that foundational place where you can make sense of it and organize it and awaken it and you know grow from it. So yeah, that's meditation one. So
So I've linked the website, but I'm going to link meditation one. So for those of you who are interested in signing up at this time, I think it's run several times per year. But there is a meditation one class opening up February 21st. Is that it?
it should say 28th. It's the
28th.
28th. Yeah,
Perfect.
Sunday the 28th.
Sunday, February 28th. So there's an opportunity to enroll if you'd like to do that. It'll also be linked below this video. And before we get started with the kind of preview of how meditation one works and the meditation, what vocabulary or concepts would be helpful for people to know in advance, if any?
Okay, well, no, there always is. That's a good question. The tools all take you through what we call a grounding cord, and that's going to be a connection between you and the center of the planet. And what that does, it helps you begin to release the static, and not only the static within your body and your physical body, but the static that's in between your spirit and your body communicating. And it just helps also quiet the mind, because you are releasing energy. When the energy gets to the center of the planet, it doesn't matter what it is, yours, that part of the growth that you're going through, or what we've been through, the emotional or the mental, this will all just travel. It'll break loose, just like an apple falls from the tree. It only comes off when it's ready, or the orange. And it's a very beautiful thing, but it's not always of our conscious mind. Some of it comes from our subconscious. But once it travels down to the center of the planet, it becomes pure energy again. So if you're releasing worry, if you're releasing, again, all the influence in the world, other people's life experiences where it's just got you bound, this will, again, when it's not yours, it'll start to sprinkle loose, just like those apples falling from the tree. Then once it is in there, it becomes pure energy. And as that pure energy becomes, what it'll happen is what we call a golden sun. Your sparkle will come from those fragments that you're releasing, because there's an aspect of you, because it's your energy that you have wound, or it's your energy that creates that static to come to it. But when it becomes pure energy again, it'll come up to what we call a golden sun. This golden sun is you, who you are. And the body's a vibration, and this golden sun helped create the body that you have now. And in this sparkle that comes up into your limitless golden sun, those sparkles will all return up there. And then what we'll do is bring that golden sun into our body and replace all those areas within us where we've released the static, or the emotions, or the ideas, or other people's pain that we don't even know we're holding on to. And you'll start to have a little bit deeper breath for you. It even gets a little bit more quiet. And then what we'll also do is bring our auras in. And those auras can be very large for some of us. But we're going to bring them in. And we're going to start to let those clear out. And an aura is that energy field around us that's created from the chakras spinning and turning. And then And I don't know how much anybody knows. And again, that's always evolving for each one of us. We can talk but I'll say hello to the chakras, which are the light centers within us where the spirit body houses into our physical bodies. They tend to be around our endocrine system. So we will talk about the chakras and about how the grounding cord, the aura comes in, and the golden suns. And if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about how earth and cosmic energy, which are two neutral energies. Because if I get too far, this is just going to get too washed out. Because people, even though I'm saying this and it seems like words, just by validating a frequency that's already within us, it starts that action to happen and things begin to change. And so I'm going to try to be light and maybe just stay with those few things. But in meditation one, you continue to learn new tools like these. Each week you learn 2 to 3 new tools that you begin to become conscious of and learn how to use. These tools are for you to, they're yours. They're already there. We're just helping you remember. So each week we do give you 2 or 3 new tools that you will begin to remember and be able to use. And maybe use in your daily practice to help your personal growth. But again, people use these tools for so many different things to empower the world. But that's, I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm starting to get into, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say too much because it seems so simple, but these tools are so powerful.
Yeah.
And if I do say too much, people start to go into that state and it becomes kind of a dreamy state because things just start to become activated. And that's why when I was talking earlier, it becomes kind of like ethereal, but it transforms the cells of the body, and everything starts to come in alignment and get a little foggy, a little dreamy. So I'm going to leave it there until we start. How's that?
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So I've linked meditation one in the chat for you guys. If you're listening to this at a future date, the link will be in the description box below. It's offered multiple times over the course of the year. So if you're hearing this at some other point in time, you can always head on over to the True Insight website and find the link you need to join or to ask questions. And I'm going to quickly just answer this question from one of the viewers. Journey Home says, meditation one is the one that helped you connect with your gifts. And I'll say, as Carrie just said, the gifts are already there. They're an innate part of all the humans. There's some that I really, had already very much like turned on high. The throat chakra, articulation, and all those things. These are kind of some things that were already very much cultivated within me to a certain degree. But then when I got into meditation one, I was able to amplify those in their capacity and what they could do. And I was able to work with them instead of having the gifts kind of come and go unbidden, unchecked, like just kind of be all over the place. I had more mastery with them. And so you may find that you have, maybe clairaudience isn't quite your most cultivated or developed gift. It may be something like moving energy with your hands. And so you'll find, some of the healing series and the intuitive meditation series are things that will help you. You may find that you have a gifting that's, more amplified in another area. No matter what it is for you, you know, True Insight will help you cultivate it and enrich it so that you're able to operate in more mastery with it. And mastery continues to unfold. It's never just a destination. It's an ongoing growth and unfoldment. So, with that said, it, Carrie, people are like, okay, I need to go here. How many spots are open? Do I need to enroll right this minute? You have enough room for a good amount of people.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. No worries about that.
Yeah. I had
No
a feeling.
worries.
I had a feeling.
And can I just add one thing that I didn't
Please.
say? The thing about doing this type of meditation, and as you learn it and as you grow with it, that this meditation is something that you bring into your everyday life. It becomes where there's no separation and you're in your full awareness during the day and still being able to move energy, being able to become more aware in a moment when you feel energy that isn't yours, and it can help you rebalance your whole space. Why you're at work, why you're driving a car, you self-realize all the time. But when you do go into meditation, you can go into, and then when you're safe, you can go into deeper aspects of yourself and ask questions. You always have the answer, and you can ask questions to yourself, and you'll get your feedback. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Let's go ahead and try it out. I want to take it for a test run.
Woo-hoo, here we go.
One thing I will say, before we settle in for meditation, some of you are used to meditating sitting cross-legged on the floor or laying down. Is there something different you want to share about the best way to do this one, Carrie?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you.
Okay.
The way we do our meditation here at True Insight, it's the way I learned, is that you sit in a chair with your feet on the floor. And Lewis had a reason for that. He just said that the first chakra is very sensitive. He was an incredible intuitive, uh, saw the most wonderful, wonderful things. And so he always asked us to sit in a chair. And as your chakras begin to spin, it sometimes aligns that body so it really wants to sit up straight. And you'll see that in some of the some pictures sometimes when you look at chakras. But this just feet are going to be on the floor, and some people like to put their palms in their laps. Some people will sit with their arms with their palms up. Again, that just seems to be natural as you start to do this. Everything kind of finds its innate posture. But yeah, we do sit in a chair with our feet on the floor.
Beautiful. Thank
Hmm.
you. All right. So if you're not already doing that, I highly recommend find yourself a seat, feet on the floor, and let's begin.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. This is very exciting. Um, So what I'm going to just ask, just like Kay said, is let's go ahead and just find ourselves in a chair, if possible. And again, this work, I find in this work that people begin their way, but when we at the center, that's kind of how we start. I do a Zoom during the day, and I see pictures, and people are sometimes laying down and stuff, but I find this to be the most powerful way. And with that being said, we're going to go ahead and, as spirit, who we are as these beings in these bodies, just call to yourself and just ask where you may be right now. Because where we're going to say hello to being, I use that word hello as to look at an energy or experience an energy, is to, again, see where we are at spirit. Are we at work? Are we planning a menu? Where are we? And we're just going to start to say hello to our bodies. And our bodies are in present time. It's that present time moment. And it's like, just where am I? And the idea is to at least be in the room or close to your body in that state of awareness. Oh, I'm about a foot above my body. Well, that's about as close as I want to be right now. Some people will be able to slip in behind their eyes. And we call that in the center of your head or your room, where you have the most awareness and the most neutrality on all the gifts that body and spirit have for you. And then what we're going to do from that point is that present time awareness, where our body is and who we are as a spirit and where we are. Some of you might still be out in the dream space. We're just going to ask you to come on back on that silver cord. There you go. And from here, as we know where we are in present time, we're going to say hello to that first chakra. And where that first chakra is right inside that tailbone area. And that first chakra has to do with our physical worlds and how we're in the world. And that first chakra is about basic fundamentals. Do I have enough food? You know, is my body safe? And right now you're in a safe environment to explore. You're not out driving the car. If you are, please pull the car over. But anyways, go ahead and just say hello to that first chakra from behind your eyes. And chakras move. And just give it some validation that it's real and that it might move. You might feel that experience in the body. Some people can feel their heartbeats, and that's how chakras will respond once you give them some validation and a hello. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line in our imagination. And some people like to pretend that they're looking at a screen out in front of like a movie screen or like your computer. And with their eyes closed, they'll wink that first chakra at their tailbone area, and then they'll just draw a line from that first chakra all the way down to the center of the planet. And as you draw that line to the center of the planet, and as it goes into the center of the planet, your body will most of the time respond to that earth energy, that all-knowing, that place that we came from on the planet. And you'll just notice that nice, quiet, safe energy. And most of the time, your body will relax into that grounding cord. So we'll just sit here for a moment and let you draw those lines and place them into the center of the planet. And then once they're there, just sit back with your palms up if you like. And what this grounding cord will do is help you release static energy that's not yours and begin to give that body spirit permission to awaken to your own answers. So let's take that line and just open it up to about 3 inches around, so that you're like sitting on a straw from the first chakra all the way down to the center of the planet. So you can begin to let those apples drop away. Those things that you're ready to let go of, like innately a tree releases that apple, or those leaves. And again, the only thing it's going to let release is what's not yours. And again, this tool helps you bring everything into this moment. And in this moment, as you practice your meditation, you'll be able to change your past. You'll start to become conscious of past lifetimes or earlier childhood memories that might have been limiting to where you're at today. Those type of things will start to just filter down that grounding cord and become pure energy again. And your sparkle will return to your golden sun above your head. So let's just sit here for a moment and just let that static that's not ours release down that grounding cord. And again, you might feel it. You might feel it in your neck. You might feel it in your lower back. You might begin to yawn or tear. Your body might want to wiggle a little bit and just let those cells get a little space. And then if you'd like, we can go ahead and open up that grounding cord to about 6 inches around. All the way from that first chakra down to the center of the planet. And here we have to use our imaginations, because our brains are taught many different things. And if you go, wow, blah, 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 just let that blah, 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 blah go down the grounding cord, and just let that body spirit communication start to awaken. There you go. And sometimes what we do to allow the energy just to release, because sometimes those visuals will come up, or those emotions will come up where we don't know what to do with them, but they've caught our attention. Another tool that we learn there is the ha-ha tool. And the ha-ha tool is a higher vibration than the energy that wants to release. So we give it a ha 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 until that emotion or that idea or whatever's going on breaks loose, it dissipates and goes down to the center of the planet to be transformed. So if you come upon something, give it the ha ha ha's until it disintegrates, and then you just find that quiet again. And just let all your sparkles return to your golden sun above your head. Maybe a nice little breath. Let that body again relax. The mind quiet. Some of us, we've been through a lot, so those minds are really hypersensitive. And they might just seem loud right now, but as you ground, that brain, that mind will start to just calm. It'll match that earth energy and that innate wisdom within you and calm. But let's go ahead and say hello. Just above your head is that golden sun now. And what we're going to do is we're going to imagine pouring that golden sun in through our crown chakra, which is that seventh chakra on top of your head. And just go ahead and just pour that golden sun in. It's yours. Nothing else can enter that. And just fill it like you're filling a glass full of orange juice. And just allow that golden sun to come in. And let it just reach wherever it does. Because it will come up against other things within you that's ready to release. It will never push anything out. That innate wisdom in you is your guiding light. So, but fill yourself up all the way through your torsos, down into your legs and into your toes. And just let it fill you back up again, up into your knees and through your hips, back up and through your torsos, all the way up into your shoulders, down your arms, out your palms. And let it continue to fill you up through your faces. And let it just overspill. And it'll start to begin to fill the layers of your aura. And then when you feel bright and shiny and full, just tip that golden sun back up. And we're just going to sit here for a moment in your golden sun energy. Your grounding cord's still working. It's still helping you release what isn't you innately. And what we're going to do from here in present time where our bodies are, because I talked about your aura, just again, ask yourself where your aura is. And whether or not you know where the edge of it is, just ask it to begin to come into the room that you're in. Know that your aura is tucked into your grounding cord, so as it comes in, it too will release the static. Again, there you go. And static, again, is what's not yours that you've collected. And then just bring that aura in a little bit closer, maybe about 6 feet around you, knowing that as it comes in, it will release. If something comes up, you give it the ha 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 until it breaks loose. I sometimes describe some of the energy we're holding on to like boulders, bigger than we think that we can believe. It just consumes us. But when you give it the ha ha ha, it starts to break it down because we're senior to that energy now. We know about it. It doesn't validate us, so we want to break it down. And then it'll come down to about the size of a rock. And as we say ha ha ha, it'll bring it down to the size of a stone. And ha ha ha, and down to the size of a pebble. And then continue until that just completely dissolves into just sand and just finds its way down to the grounding cord to be transformed into pure energy. So just spraying those auras in. Say hello to that space behind your eyes or in the corner of the room. And just allow your body and your mind and your spirit to shift and awaken in that communication space of who you are as a soul on the planet in present time. And let's go ahead and bring in another golden sun. And you'll notice this one's going to be a little bit different. And say hello, that golden sun just above your head. It's collected many more sparkles as that energy has become neutralized in the planet. And just bring in that golden sun and just pour in through that seventh chakra. And you're filling your body up all the way through and down into your hips, into your feet, up and back through the legs and torso, again through your neck and shoulders and down your palms and up through your faces. And you'll know that it'll just start to fill out the layers of the aura, and it will come up against things that you're ready to release. Because you begin to know yourself, this is you. And then from behind your eyes, just notice, is that grounding cord still working for you? You might have really had a lot to let go of, and it seems like, I don't know if I'm still grounded. So go ahead and just postulate. There's a little button there, and just push the button. Allow that old grounding cord to go, and just say hello to creating a new one. Now you have a little memory there now. You can still say hello to that first chakra and that screen out in front of you and draw that line. That'll work every time. But sometimes once you've created in your imagination and that sensation, that body, it'll remember it. So, and then through the meditation one, we try on many different types of grounding cords. So this grounding cord, let's go ahead and create it as a waterfall. That all that energy that you're letting go of is turned into your waterfall, all the way down to the center of the planet. And you can control the flow. If it's flowing too fast, just say, no, I need that to slow down a little bit. Make it more in resonance to how I want to experience this. There you go. If you decide, well, that waterfall grounding cord isn't the one that feels as validating as the first one, push that button, let it go, and then draw your line again, all the way to the center of the planet. And just open it up to where you're comfortable, whether it's that 3 inches or that 6. And just notice what you notice as you sit behind your eyes and your auras are in. And you're in present time where your body is. Some of you might be tingling. Sometimes our little bodies will just kind of twitch. Just notice what you notice. And we're going to bring in another golden sun. In this golden sun, let's put an emotion, a validating emotion. How about joy? To say, in my golden sun, I want to be at my joy. And let it just light up with that joy, your joy energy. And then when you're ready, just pour your golden sun of joy down into your body through that 7th chakra. Let it come all the way through. And let it be natural. That joy is a very high vibration, and it might come in and light up some areas where those apples are ready to drop from the tree with this frequency. Know that your grounding cord is big enough to support the release. And you're bringing in joy all the way through your bodies, down and through your hips, your knees and your feet. And then just allow yourself to fill all up, like you're filling that empty glass with you. Then all the way through your shoulders and out your palms, back up through the tops of your heads, all the way out, and just let it bring that frequency through all the layers of your aura. And any excess energy will start to wash down that grounding cord. And we'll sit here in joy for just a moment, releasing anything that doesn't match it that we're ready to let go of. Very good. And just breathe into those bodies for a moment. And use your ha-ha tool if you need to let go of energy, to awaken things and let go. You might just want to go ha-ha-ha for no reason that you can think of, but there might be something way underneath that you're starting to let go of. It's just tickling you to use that ha-ha tool. There you go, right down the spines. Good job. There you go. You might notice that your body moved around a little bit in that chair. You might feel it moving a little bit. And let's go ahead and just open up that grounding cord just a tiny bit more, to maybe 8 inches around. And you'll notice that effect. You won't fall down. This is an energy grounding cord. And some of us adapt to it really, really quickly. Others, there might be something innate in you going, something about this feels right, but I really don't know what's going on. Be amused by that. There you go. That's how I got to all my classes. There was just something slightly in my world that changed by doing the tools each week. There was something that kept me going back to class that I did not realize, except I was happier for a few extra days in my world at that time. And to really be in that joy and that happiness, wow, that was my guiding light. I didn't have a lot at that time when I first started. So let's bring in another golden sun. And then we're going to use the same frequency. We're just going to say hello to bringing in a golden sun. Your energy, limitless. And if you like, you can just bring that vibration of joy in with it. And let it start to come up against all the different chakras and body parts. And it will illuminate those spaces that can have it and start to change those places within you to start to transform. Joy is one of those innate energies within us. It awakens your personal power, that spirit within you. It's like, okay, it's time to play. So let it just be bright within you. And this time, you can just let that joy, as that golden sun, just start to illuminate. Not only come out the top of your head, but just illuminate, like when you light a candle. It illuminates the room that it's in. So just let that golden sun illuminate in through all the layers of your aura. And excess energy will go down the grounding cord. And breathe into those bodies. Be behind your eyes in present time and just notice what you notice. And feel free to use your ha-ha tool. You can dream a little dream. Very good. It's an awakening. Very good. From behind your eyes, what we're going to say hello to is earth energy. Not where your grounding cord is, but earth energy. It's a neutral energy. And this is how we really start to move the energy in our bodies, even though the grounding cord and the golden sun. But when we start to use what we call earth and cosmic energy and start to spin those chakras, it really livens things up. And that might be a little bit too much today, but I think that grounding cord and the golden sun, we're just going to stay with that for a couple more minutes. And I'll say hello to those other tools as a spirit level. Is also what we call giving space to things for that magic to happen and things to waken up. And more isn't always better. In our 5-week series, the first day that for 2.5 hours, we spend with the grounding cord and the golden sun and the ha-ha tool and another tool. And then we allow the students to simulate that transformation of their spiritual and the physical world. And it's called a growth period, where that alignment begins to really empower a release and an awakening. And if anybody's ever lifted weights, you go, oh, how could this do anything? The first time, you have no idea what that, after lifting a few weights, and the next day you go, oh my gosh, I'm so sore. Oh, we lifted 5-pound weights, and woo, this is kind of the same thing. It's very empowering. It might not seem like a whole bunch right now, but you'll see. And you can use these tools forevermore. They're innate within you already. So let's go ahead and try another golden sun. Let's bring a golden sun. Say how that beautiful sun above your head. It's been collecting sparkles as I've been talking. And what would you like? Happy? Say hello, golden sun of your happiness. And you can already tell it's different than the vibration of joy, your joy. And just let it resonate with happiness. It might tickle a bone or two inside. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and bring your golden sun of happiness and just pour it into your body. And notice what you notice all the way down into your hips and down into your toes. And then let it come all the way back up again through your torsos and your shoulders. Let some of it come out your palms, up and through your faces, and out the top of your heads. And let it just resonate out the top of your head through the layers of your aura. And let's just sit behind our eyes in present time where our body is and just notice the difference between that joy, the first one, and then that second joy. And now this happiness. Just sit in happiness. You might notice colors flashing and ideas changing and old things releasing. You might see people that you haven't thought of for a long time. Only what belongs to you stays. The rest transforms into pure energy as it releases down that grounding cord. You're not releasing the relationships, you're just releasing sometimes the static in your relationships if those people show up in your happiness. Golden sun. Or in your joy. or when you give back to yourself and take a step. And then you can look in those with so much more wisdom into those relationships because you're no longer resisting them within your auric field or in your bodies. Energy still releasing down the grounding cord. I'm saying hello to that earth and cosmic energy already working with you, and that you're transforming energy. And breathe. And let's do one more golden sun of happiness. So just above your head, just pause for a moment. Notice that golden sun sitting there. And say hello to happiness again. It'll be a little bit different than the first one. It might be a little bit brighter for you. You might notice, is it a bright pink? Sometimes when people bring in their golden suns, they change colors. This color might change for you. Let's say hello to that vibration of happiness and pour that happiness down through your crown chakra, all the way down till it reaches your toes and tickles them with happiness. And then it have it come all the way back up through your shoulders and out your palms, up through your faces, and just fills every layer of your aura. That 6 foot around you that empties down that grounding cord. And just let those apples fall free. Let that static go. And let's just sit here for a moment in your happiness. Notice how your body responds to it. Notice your necks and your shoulders. Notice how your breath is. And just let your body dance in that chair if it needs to. Let it yawn. Some people need to stretch. Just stretch. You just might feel that brightness, that happiness just filling your chests. Maybe your toes. Sometimes it'll come up against old energy that has created a limit in our lives or in our bodies. And it'll start to work with that vibration too. Very good. And just let it illuminate, let it just have its momentum. Those areas of you that can absorb more of it, it will. You might start to feel your solar plex unwind, where those ribs are. Then again, it might hit an old emotion that has just been sitting there dormant, that you never had a moment to express before, and this touch that gives it permission to transform and be neutralized. Maybe you've gotten stuck on an idea or a thought and can't get past it. Just let that golden sun of happiness work with you there. And then it might help you decide that you want more happiness in different areas of your life that maybe you didn't know you could have until this moment. You might just notice it pulsating in different areas and changing colors. Being able to see energy is a spiritual tool. We all see energy uniquely. If there's a billion people on the planet, and it's a billion different ways. You're unique. So from that space behind your eyes, just let's enjoy the happiness. A nice little breath, and let's bring in another golden sun, just a plain golden sun. Bring it all the way through. And this time, just add a couple sparkles down that grounding cord. Just let it sparkle down the grounding cord. Illuminate. And then that's about it. And then let it just go back down to your feet. And you'll notice this one's different. All the way back up and through your torsos, through your arms, out your palms, back up and through your faces, and through the layers of your aura. And again, notice where your aura is. Be behind your eyes in present time. And just ask your aura, let's go ahead and bring it in a foot. So if it's at 6 feet, let's bring it into 5 feet. And just notice what you notice by bringing it in 1 foot. Know that the grounding cord, if it feels tight, it's good to realize that anything that might have come in with it is going to granulate and drop down that grounding cord. Here we bring things into a lot of levels of awareness. And the aura is a very, 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 very powerful tool. So just notice as that aura comes in, and it's not a perfect picture. Sometimes parts of it will stay out a little bit, some of it will come in. Let it be what it is. Don't try to change it, just be aware. Very good. Again, just notice what you notice with this. And if it feels a little tight in your ha ha ha, you might be just one that's a little bit more comfortable with expanding it back out to 6 feet. And you might go, oh, goodness, good job. And let all that transform. Go ahead from that place behind your eyes, just say hello to that first chakra again. Give it a little bit of a wink, a little bit of a hello, and just like you would a friend, a hello, you get a response. Just let that first chakra respond to that place of a hello. You'll notice something's a little different than the first time you gave it a hello. You might have responded quicker, you might feel it. You might go, oh, I didn't feel it, or nothing's happening. Just go ahead and settle down. Be in your quiet. There you go. Nothing has to happen. These are very powerful tools. But you'll have this toolkit for the rest of your life, and however and often do you want to use it, and whether or not you take a class, this is very, you can use this, and it'll always help you grow as you request it to. Wow, much brighter in those first chakras, and that certainty of your grounding cords. And again, if you like, you can check from that space behind your eyes. And if that grounding cord is still working for you, if not, push that button and put on a new one. There you go, draw that line. And you'll notice each time you do a tool in present time, which is in this moment, again, remember I said these tools help you with the past, the present, and the future. You'll notice even from 15 minutes ago that grounding cord is different. The way you work with it's different. The way you can process things with it's different. There you go. Say hello to the body. Just allow the grounding cord to support your body movement, your emotional movement, the way you move in your life, the way you feel about life, the way you hear and talk to yourself, the way you see, and the way you know. Each chakra has a different function with limitless possibilities. And let's say we've been doing a lot here. Let's go ahead and say hello to another golden sun. You can pick joy or happiness or just a beautiful golden sun of your original essence. And just bring that golden sun in. Or is there 6 feet around or 5? Let it validate you. And just let that static release, let those apples go, or the leaves off the tree. All innate. It's all wisdom on how those apples get there, or those leaves, or all the nutrients from the planet. Just let your innate nature awaken and align. We're just going to sit here for a moment and notice what we notice. You guys are doing excellent. Breathe into those bodies. Let them express. Let that spirit get brighter. That communication space more aware. Ha 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 ha. Just to let extra energy go that we don't even know is there. Let's do our ha 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 ha's. And let the magic happen. Let it become real for you. Ha 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 ha. And anytime you want to bring in a golden sun, just bring it on in. And again, you can release a little more energy with that ha ha ha. Awesome. And breathe. Auras are in. Allow those chakras to move. Know that you're running your energy and meditating. And that communication between you and spirit is awakening, and all the gifts of being a human are also awakening, defining their space, empowering you, helping you remember who you are as a soul in those bodies and the adventure you're here on. It's quite an adventure. Always unfolding. And these tools really help you unfold it with more of your innate wisdom and the God of your heart and your higher self, all sing together to empower you. And just let that crown chakra get a little brighter. Just kind of notice it. Let's bring that crown chakra to maybe a light blue. Good job. And just let that light blue work with you for a moment. And breathe, because there's a new frequency. We just did something a little bit different, and it changes the frequency. It awakens things to a little bit different level, and the static lights up to release, and that spirit and that body become a little bit brighter and more aware, and their ability to work with each other and create life. And let's go ahead and bring our crowns to a nice light gold now. And notice that shift, how powerful that is. And let's say hello to another golden sun above our head. And let this golden sun be whatever you like: joy, happiness, anything you like, amusement. And just let it ring with that frequency. Let it brighten you before it even comes in. Let it be that. And then just pour that down into your bodies. All the way into your little toes and back up again through your arms, and out your palms, through your faces, and through all the layers of your aura. Just glow. And just let your crowns adjust accordingly to you and where you're at right now. You're at a nice high vibration, and it can be any color: blues, greens, oranges, yellows. And just let yourself be here. Awesome. And notice what you notice. And let's take a nice little light breath. And start to come out of this meditation. And go ahead and begin to wiggle your toes and wiggle your fingers. Maybe move around in that chair a little bit and open your eyes. And a nice little breath. And you can bend over and dump out. Sometimes those golden suns collect on your shoulders. So sometimes bending over helps release that energy off your shoulders. So very good. Nice little breath as you move around. Very good. You guys did a great, great job. Thank you very much. So that's our meditation first week, probably first and second week. Okay.
Beautiful. That was so nice.
Glad you enjoyed that. It was fun to do.
Yeah, it was a real treat to experience. I definitely could feel the releasing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, I was practicing with some of the other tools that I know you'll teach in Med 1 to make sure that, as we were all working, I was definitely working in my own space. So that was also really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I got the tingles. I love it when I get the tingles. Some people get them when they listen to ASMR, but
Mm-hmm.
but I frequently will get the tingles when I'm receiving a healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I certainly invited that in. That's one of the things that we learned in meditation series was how to invite in our own healing guides toward the end. And I started receiving healings as we were going. It was just lovely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got cool because my body started to release all that energy and I started getting nice and cool and went, ooh, ooh. And I too got a little, my cells got a little vibrant and light
Yeah.
and playful.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lightness as well. So, for those of you that are just coming back, inside the chat, I will paste for you the link to how you can enroll in the first class in the series. It's called Meditation 1. And this is the Hogwarts for the people who who have spiritual gifts. You can cultivate them, learn how to use them,
Mm-hmm.
and create step into your mastery with their utilization. So the link will be below this video. And I know sometimes people have questions about what they experienced during the meditation. I think, the number one thing to remember if you're starting to question things would be what, Carrie?
Um, it could be any kind of question.
And
Is
yeah,
what you, it could be any kind of question. People, any question is validated. Any
yeah,
question, because this reaches it reaches our lives and just who we are and in the world that we're in. So all questions are welcomed.
yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
and whatever your experience was, there like I think the main thing is that you didn't do it wrong. There's nothing wrong here.
exactly, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I had something else to say, but I forgot. I went out the other ear. Um, yeah, you can't do it wrong. Um, and the tools are they're really uniquely for each individual. Um, and we help validate your questions. We can't answer questions about other people, but how we are in our worlds with other people, I can help you with that.
Great. Great. That's perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Carrie, it was a pleasure and a joy to have you. We have one commenter, Marianne. She says, um, oh my gosh, that was powerful. The vibrating of the body, is that the releasing? It was very much to handle the first time. I loved it though.
Yeah, I had to take it back a little bit because, as I was saying, a lot more is not always better. It's the simplicity. And yeah, that meditation, it's just that those cells of the body begin to sparkle like the light of the spirit. and sometimes it just shimmies or it gets cold, the kundalini will turn on. So it's pretty exciting. It's fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, everybody says, "Oh, this is just meditation." It's a little bit more than that. So I
Mhm.
welcome your questions, whatever they are. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah, Lynn says, thank you. Annie Lou says, how can we maintain the vortex staying open with eye floaters? I don't really know what that question means, but if you have any thoughts about that, Carrie, you're welcome to share.
Um, it just kind of whatever happens, because many, many, many things happen after this. Because again, as Kay said, that as she used the tools, there's in the beginning, because we've learned so many things from so many areas and past lifetimes and everything. Sometimes everything begins to bounce around, like that question is like, don't quite know how to answer it. But as you go back into that grounding cord and just bring in golden suns in that aura and have that consciousness between your eyes, it will continue to bring everything into present time. All those past life tools, all this lifetime, and all these things that have gone on, and it'll start to help you find that answer. And sometimes we do the wiggles, sometimes we have those visions, sometimes we have those thoughts. That's that ha-ha tool as you awaken that grounding cord, and how that will serve you to answer any question you have to ask yourself.
Great. That was perfect, Carrie. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, everyone, if you would like to learn more, links will be below this video and you can enroll. February 28th is the next opening for Meditation 1, which would start your journey at Hogwarts. Thanks so much, everyone. Take great care and have a beautiful weekend. Bye for now.
Thank you, Kay.
You're,
Enjoy. An honor.
you're so welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.